There it is, guys. You guys saw it. Welcome back. Another episode, Sons of Montezuma, episode, I want to say 305. So I want to thank you guys for joining this live stream. Going to be the audio version. Check for that in the morning. Of course, it's Mateo San Diego. I'm an Aztec warrior. I'm joined to my left. He is, well, you can't stop him. You can only hope to contain the whistle. He is SD Sports Fiend. What's up, dude?
I'm good, man. Good weekend hanging out, watching men's and women's hoops, and yeah, we're gonna get into it.
I got the harmonica. We're gonna have to play some blues. Play some blues after that game, boy. What's going on, Mike? Mike Tortola, all the way from East Tahoe. Saw Nevada get beat by our Lady Aztecs. We're gonna get into that as well. What's up, Mike?
Gentlemen, how are you tonight? Monday,
Not well.
first Monday of
Not
February.
well. Not well.
Why?
I kind of don't really not motivated for this one, but I am motivated for this one. It's like a duality. This episode is going to be kind of back and forth, back and forth. Of course, the men lose in Logan to Utah State. Always hate to have that happen and have to explain what happened, but 71-66, lose on the road. That's going to be the first topic, the first order of business, guys, because this was a big week for the Aztecs. First place, still in first place, but they had a chance to create some distance in the last few weeks. They've had chances to create some distance, extend the lead, and just haven't been able to do it. Now they're neck and neck, even with Utah State. Of course, they have the tiebreaker for now. Still got to make that return trip down to Viejas. But, you know, everything we saw in that game, first off, we got to send a big thank you to everybody for joining us at the watch party. The Broken Yoke, SDSU, of course, Philly Billy out there opening up the doors, just super hospitable to us, Sons of Montezuma, going down to the Broken Yoke and everybody who was there for the watch party. You know, it was a great time, man. Breakfast, basketball, and, you know, didn't come out our way, but it was a great time to see that. I see Bill in the chat right there. Welcome to him, man. It was great hanging out with you and so many others that made the actual time 10 a.m. to go watch basketball with us. Fiend, you were there. Any thoughts on the watch party gathering before we dissect this game a little bit?
I mean, I thought it was a nice group that attended, and it was like pretty much our whole Sons of Monty crew, and then a lot of people affiliated with Mesa there, and so the whole room was packed. I mean, it was good atmosphere to have a watch party, and the options are kind of limited that early, right, when you're playing at 10 a.m. So, but it was nice. So I'm glad that they hosted us, and certainly had a good time there, and good time seeing Bill, who we saw last time in Colorado State when we were all on the road at the bar before the game. So good to see him and his wife, and yeah, and just hanging out. Good vibes always. Wish we had gotten the win. That kind of soured the mood a little bit, but then took that hate, that angst over to the Viejas Arena for the women's game.
We took it with us. And yeah, shout out again to Mesa Foundation as well. I had never really spent a lot of time there in the Broken Yoke. So it was cool when you go in there. I mean, there's Aztec stuff all over the place. There's Mesa stuff all over the place. Of course, Mesa Foundation, the NIL creators there for Aztecs men's and women's basketball. Make sure you guys are checking them out. So it was a cool environment. It was a good time. Just didn't come out on top. Mike, was this breakfast and basketball for you out there as well? Let's get into the game a little bit, right? Because early morning game, big CBS. We talked about it. We always get these games on the road. We hardly ever beat Utah State on the road, dude. And I had a feeling this was going to be the case again.
Well, I mean, we're 1-6 in the last 7 up there.
Yeah.
After that loss, so it's become our house of horrors, kind of like Boise State was a few years back. We can't figure out how to get a dub up there. And you're watching the game. I don't know. I mean, the UNLV game was early, but this is early. I feel like we tend to struggle, but both teams struggled in the beginning. And when the other team is going 0 for 11 from 3 to start the game, and you can't put that separation between you and them, at some point they're at home. They're gonna make a run, and they did. And you look at the stats. I mean, we outshot them in free throw percentage, 3-point percentage. We were right there with field goal percentage, but like to lose by 5, it came down to the rebounding. We got out rebounded pretty handily. I think by 9 on the offensive board and 15 overall. To me, that's that's the tale of the game, and then I don't know, man. You know what I mean? Like we just it's sometimes you just can't get over and get a dub someplace, no matter what you do for whatever reason. And Reese, I was worried Reese was going to hurt that ankle again, man. I was really nervous about that, but thankfully he's okay. But it's just one of those games where you didn't take advantage of their mistakes, and you allowed them to stick around, and they took advantage of that, and they beat us.
I'm trying not to overreact too much in this game, but at the same time, right, it's so frustrating knowing with the injuries, and then of course, like you said, Reese went down. Like, did he turn his ankle? I think it was
Yeah,
just it
I think he
looked
stepped
bad in
on.
the moment, right?
Yeah, I think he stepped on Magoon. Like he stepped, and then he stepped back, and he stepped on Magoon. I think is what happened accidentally, right? Because everything's pretty tight up there.
On the bench.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
like at the end of the day, like I said, the two toughest places to play, I think, are Grand Canyon and Utah State. And
We'll get into that.
it's we were in the games, we just didn't take advantage of what we needed to take advantage of. And nobody's perfect. They won at home, which they should, teams should win at home, honestly. So you got to find a way to steal some other road games coming up here.
All right, Fiend, before I turn it over to you to kind of give me your thoughts, we were watching there together. Hey, we were getting a little heated with each other, dude. Make no bones about it. When you're watching these games together, it's a lot of fun. But when you're losing, when you're searching for answers, you're searching for a big shot, you're looking for a stop, and it's not happening. Boy, me and Fiend looked at each other, and we had our hard nosed stances there. But what stood out to you in this game? We can get into that maybe after you give me your impressions on this game.
Well, I mean, first of all, it was a missed opportunity, right? I mean, we could have easily won that game, and I agree with everything that Mike said. I mean, we failed to separate in the first half. We let them come back. The big thing he hit on it was the rebounding. We got just crushed offensive rebounds by Utah State, but that's what they do. They're the best team at offensive rebounding in the conference, and I thought our technique was really bad. I thought that we when someone shoots a lot of threes, those threes tend to bounce like farther than like a 2-point shot. And I felt like we didn't really set up in the right position to be able to get those. And it did it. I don't know. To me, it seemed like there were just a lot of weird bounces that didn't go our way too in the game. And that sometimes that just happens. And, you just have to chalk it up to, it was kind of a bad day for that, and so we were a little unlucky, but we had our opportunities, right? And to me, yes, rebounding could have been better, but that technical on Taj, which I didn't see a technical, right? Like it didn't seem like a technical, but I think when you're playing on the road, you got to play smarter. You cannot a play like that gets the crowd back into it, which creates a run for Utah State, which is exactly what happened. And then they were able to come back and tie it by halftime. And so you have to play smarter. You have to take better shots. There's a little more forgiveness when you're playing at home because you have the crowd on your side, but you have to you have to go into an arena and silence them and keep them silent, right? And not let them go on runs. And I felt like we failed to do that, especially in the late in the first half. And it seemed like the T on Taj, not to blame Taj for that, but that seemed like that started their run. And then Templin, man, Templin just hit ridiculous shots like he normally doesn't shoot. And so credit to Utah State, man. They made some big plays in this game. They made more big plays down the stretch than we did.
Yeah, to kind of jump on Templin because he really was the spark plug, right? And in this game, with the injuries, it really felt like Utah State's bench they had the advantage there. Whereas our bench is usually nails coming in, one of the highest scoring benches, but with the injuries down, two of your starters generally, you just didn't really have that same effectiveness on the road, like you're saying, Fiend. You really got to play smart. You got to give that extra effort. You got to be cool under pressure. But Templin, man, he was that spark plug. I mean, getting all the loose boards. I think the announcer said he was hitting like 50% from 3-point line, right? But that's not taking a lot of threes. He doesn't take a lot of threes. So it's one of those things, kind of like our 3-point percentage, right? We're one of the tops in the Mountain West, but I don't think we really take that many. Of course, numbers can be a little misleading. Both teams didn't really hit the three that well in this game at all. Surprisingly, Utah State, they missed 10 free throws? So, I mean, they were pretty bad from the line. You look at the numbers, I feel like we played good enough defense overall when you look at the numbers on paper, but the rebounds, like you said, Mike, I think kind of just letting the crowd get back into it and then having down the stretch, like you said, Fiend, those issues stopping the ball and then really having good sets. I mean, Reese was really the guy in this game, put up a fantastic stat sheet, 19 points, 6 of 12 shooting, 4 for 4 from the 3-point line. But that lack of that low block presence, whether defense or offensively, that really hurt. And boy, what can you say? I don't see your headdress on today, Mike. I don't see your headdress, but we'll get into that. We'll get into that. Yeah. I know you're grinning. But yeah, I gotta agree with you, Fiend. There's a lot of areas that execution down the stretch on the end of the first half and the end of the game. I mean, it was just like a carbon copy. We let them back into it, took the lead in the second half, and then you let them back into it. And boy, what can you say? What can you say, Mike?
Well, that will be safe for another moment. Not today. I was hoping I was going to wear it tonight, but I will wear it. Here's the thing, dude. When Farrell scores 10 plus points, I believe we're like 11-0 or 10-0. To me, he is a game wrecker. He is a game wrecker. I wouldn't necessarily say a game changer in a sense like, he's going to put all these numbers, but he makes things different when he's in there and he's not. He got in foul trouble again. Like, I think if we look at the games where he got in foul trouble, we probably, it seems like a lot, unfortunately, but when he's not in foul trouble, we play a hell of a lot better because he's in there, he's around the rim. It's interesting that he broke his nose and didn't really realize it broke his nose. And I was like, why is he wearing a mask? But, he was 2 of 4, 4 points, 12 minutes, 4 fouls. If you extrapolate that, say it's 24 minutes, he's going to get 8 to 10 points and 7 or 8 rebounds. So to me,
and
like
8 foul.
He's kind of like, to me, he's kind of like Billy Whitey to me. Do you know what I mean? Like in terms of he is the kind of the glue that can change the game by him being in there more than not being out of there. When he's in there, he's a difference maker. When we don't have him and we can't take his skills and use them, especially around the rim when he's rebounding, it's a tough ask to replace that. I don't know if we have anybody else that can really do what he does for us.
Anything on that, Fiend? That's a pretty big claim.
I mean, I wouldn't say he's like the glue of the team, but like he just fouls way too much. Like he's got to not reach as much. And some of that has to do with with switching and things like that. And you get onto a smaller player and, you're reaching and whatnot. But yeah, he's got to clean up some of his the way he plays defense, because it is getting him into foul trouble. It has been an issue all season. And he's a great player when he's rolling to the basket, or running on the fast break. Those are his best attributes. I don't think he's okay. He's shown some back to the basket ability, especially against, I think, Colorado State. He really had some good moves. He missed a couple in this game, but yeah, I mean, he's like, his effective field goal percentage is so high because almost all of his points scored are dunks, and so you got to be on the floor to be able to do that.
Yeah. And here's how I look at it. We're 15-6. So say he's 10, say we're 10-0, say maybe, I think we might be 11-0 when he scored 10 plus points. That means we're 5-5 when he doesn't. So I know what you're saying about he might not be the glue, but that number is pretty substantial where you're 500 without him scoring 10 plus points and you're undefeated when he does.
I think it kind of illuminates the point that we need that big man position out there, right? With no Magoon out there, Heidi is improving, right? But you need that physical presence, somebody like a Pharaoh. And shout out to Odin. He got out there, mixed it up, got a couple 3 balls that came up really big. I mean, that was really part of that point where we extended that lead in the first half. But you don't necessarily have that physical presence in the paint on either defense or offense without Pharaoh in there, right? So I mean, yes, he's crucial, but yeah, he's got to be out there.
Yeah.
I thought Tay got kind of owned a little bit by Templin in the middle. He had a really hard time guarding him, and so that was he'd been doing really well, down there battling in the low block. But Templin he's such a skilled player. He's got just a bunch of post moves, and they ran some sets for him, and specifically because he had Tay guarding him, and he pretty much abused them in those situations. So I mean, again, that was a good, well-designed plan by Utah State, and I thought they executed well. And Templin again came up big for them.
Yeah, and that 9-0 run by them to end the half was massive. I mean, that was tough.
Yeah,
I mean, be up by 9 and then going to that, tied at half was. I was like, oh shit, here we go.
It was tough, but it wasn't insurmountable. I mean, we took the lead back. It looked like we could have extended in the second half, but just couldn't put it together after that. And yeah, I mean, chop that up, Fiend, to an experienced guy like Templin going against a true freshman, right? I mean, there were opportunities there where just, man, some bad defensive positioning, the switches, and just knowing, okay, man, they're getting put in these awkward positions. And you got to credit Utah State, man. Their ball movement was terrific in those moments. I mean, the lobs to was it Elamine or whatever his name is, the slam, and then hey, MJ, their leading scorer, he had a horrible night shooting. Credit to our defense for really taking him out until the very end, right, where things had just finally gotten rhythm for him. Had those 2 big 3-pointers in the second half, and you knew, like, oh man, we were doing such a great job on him, and the bottom just fell out towards after those 2 big threes, the bottom just fell out.
Yeah, gotta give. Miles Bird had a really tough shooting night. The shots were just not falling for him, both him or BJ. I thought for the most part he took pretty good shots. A lot of them were like catch and shoot threes and stuff, and like he just missed them. But how many, dude? The blocks that he had, oh my god! I mean, he must have saved at least 2 or 3 dunks or layups for Utah State just by chasing him down and blocking him. He was unbelievable on the defensive end, and he has been. And I would say he's the leading player for Defensive Player of the Year in the Mountain West, what he's doing. And if we can just get some consistency on the offensive end, it would really, really help our team. But man, what a performance he put on there. And literally he saved like probably about 6 to 8 points, it seemed like, with just his blocks, and his presence.
Now, Bill, what's up, Bill? Great hanging with you, of course, like you said. He says Utah State celebrated like they won a championship game. It's on their Facebook page. I have to go check that out. Hey, that's a big win for them. That is a big, big win. This is a good team, and I think we need to give Utah State some credit coming in. I wasn't willing to give them the credit, right? I kind of said they were inflated a little bit and they're out of conference, but look, they played fantastic ball in critical stretches, came up with the big shots. Got to take your hat off to them. When you look at where we were last year, I believe they were the first Mountain West Conference game in the conference season last year, and we lost by 1 point. And that was such a frustrating loss. But if you look at last year's team compared to this year's team, and kind of just a brief history, dude, the Aztecs, look, very rarely win over there. The 2 times that they've won over there in Brian Dutcher's tenure here, 30-2 team and the Natty team. And in both those seasons, we swept the season series against them. So look, it's a tough place to play. This is their Super Bowl in a sense, right? Super Bowl coming up this week. This is their Super Bowl. They camp out for this game, right? We get everybody's best shot, but this one, they circle it. This is the biggest game of the year for them. So look, after last year compared to this year, we're in much better standing in the standings, right? Compared to last year. I mean, last year we were 3-3 in conference until that Air Force game just saved our butts. Very different story this year. Not quite where we want to be, but I think you have to look at things from a big picture and just move on, move forward. Got to move forward.
I mean, yeah, remember they beat us. I think it was the last second buzzer beater last year, right, at home,
Yep.
and they swept
Yep.
us. They beat us twice last year too.
Yep.
So there's just sometimes you get a house of horrors, man. You just can't get over the hump. And whoever we play, especially in conference, it's everybody's Super Bowl, and we've earned that. And people want to take a shot at the king. You know what I mean? And we don't win the conference every single year, but we're right there every year. You know what I mean? So it's, I mean, they had 40 points in the paint. That's too much, man. And that all goes back to what we were talking about. You know what I mean? But it also goes the fact that, everybody, it was interesting to see it as I was watching the game where the guys were driving and everybody would collapse on them. State would collapse on them. And then they kick it out to the guy for the 3-pointer and he shoot it for the edge there. You know what I mean? So they took advantage of it and they made some shots at the end. I mean, they went, they were 5 of 14 or 15 to end the game at 3. So statistically, there's no reason we should have lost this game. But we did, except for the rebounds. The rebounds and the points in the paint are the two big things to me because I was looking at the Grand Canyon game. I was like, I wonder what that was like. But that was a little bit, that wasn't as offsetting as that. But, they had 7 more shots. I don't know, man. Like, hey, screw it. 9-2 in conference. Lost 2 away games that are at 2 really good schools. You get 2 games coming up that you should win. If you get to 11-2 and have like a little mini break, hey man, you know what? We all knew that nobody was going to go undefeated. I don't think anyone was going to lose 1 or 2 games. We're talking 3, 4, 5 in that range, and we're all right there with 3 teams at 9-2, right? Is it 3 teams at 9-2?
9-2. Yeah, us, Utah State, and New Mexico, which Utah State travels to up next, right? So I mean, this could be a real 3-headed race, 3-headed monster that whoever's going to come out alive, it's going to be real fun.
I mean, I honestly, man, I think it's a 4. I think it's 4. I think you got to throw Nevada. Well, either Nevada or Grand Canyon, one of the
Nevada
two.
Beat them. Nevada beat them
because Nevada beat Grand Canyon up here, fluky, but they still beat them. So I
don't put Nevada in there. Don't be nice. Don't be pandering to your Reno folk up there. I don't throw them in there. They got to earn it.
But when we're down there and they come on Valentine's Day, are we gonna be able to kiss the frog and beat them down here? Because I mean, you got what, Colorado State and Air Force next, and you got a little bye. I mean, you get to 11-2, and I think if anybody said, "Hey, you're 11-2 in the first 13 games in conference," I think Dutch would take that. Honestly,
Wyoming, we got Wyoming.
Sorry,
tomorrow night.
Yeah, we got Wyoming, and then we're on the road at Air Force, and then we have a bye. And so the hope is that LZ and Magoon will be healthy by the time we make that stretch run, because it's a brutal run there to close out the season. We've got some really tough games. Some good opportunities, though, again, for quad 1 opportunities. And we squandered 2 now that I really feel like we should have won at Grand Canyon and Utah State. And so, we're right there for the Mountain West Championship. But when you look at the big picture for like the tournament, we're right on the bubble, like last one in, for some of the bracketologists I think I saw in Bracket Matrix, we were like the last team in. And so, it's a little nerve-wracking. Like this loss means that your margin for error is much less now. Like, you cannot slip up at home, and you really got to win some games on the road, whether that's at New Mexico or whether that's at Boise. You got to get some quad 1 wins, especially with what is happening at Troy. And Troy, we really, really got to watch. They are a free fall disaster right now.
Oh no! What happened to those brothers?
So I mean, they're all still playing, but they just lost back-to-back quad 4 home games to number.
They were so bad it was a quad 5 loss. Is that what it was?
Quad 5 loss. Yeah, it was about the equivalent of it. But they were number 223, James Madison. They lost by 9, and then they got beat by number 182, Appalachian State 66-44. They got absolutely drilled at home. They're down to 138 in the net. Okay, and why I want to bring this up is and why there's some concern here is if they fall below 160 in the net, then that's a quad 4 loss for us. They're currently at 138, and they've just lost to two really bad teams. And if they lose a couple more and they fall below 160, that is a quad 4 loss. There is only one team ranked ahead of us in the net that has a quad 4 loss, and that's Santa Clara. Like, that's pretty much a death sentence to your at-large bid. So that's something that we really got to watch and hope that Troy runs the table in the Sun Belt and stays a quad 3 loss, because a quad 4 loss would be devastating for us.
All right, Sons of Monty, you know the mission. So whoever's out there listening, you're gonna have to call every opponent that Troy has. You got to call them in the middle of the night, 2 a.m., 3 a.m., and just keep calling them, bugging them so they get no sleep. Call the head coach up. Okay, I take it back. Don't do that. Disclaimer. Don't do that.
Can't go back
Oh boy. Well, what can you do?
I mean, just keep winning, man. That's all you can do. Like, it's pretty simple. Like we always talk about, it's just you just keep winning. That's all you can do. I mean, Grand Canyon's a good team. Utah State's a good team. Win 2 in a row, take a little break, and then hit the ground running for the rest of the time. I mean, obviously, we're getting to the point where it's getting more and more apparent that they're probably going to have to win the conference tournament to get in. And then it's like, say Utah State wins the conference tournament and they beat us in the final, or vice versa. Do both those teams get in? That's a problem for another day.
You don't leave it up to
the
committee to make a decision on whether to keep you in, especially when you have this close to having a quad 4 loss. I mean, that could be the deciding factor. Just like beating Houston last year was the deciding factor for us getting in. And it would be, I'll be honest, it'd be so disappointing, man, if this team does not get to the NCAA tournament. I mean, this was sort of, you penciled them in as an NCAA tournament team. And I know Reese Waters, he talked about it in one of his post-game pressers that, like, hey, we got to win every game. Like, this is my senior year. This is my last year. He doesn't want to go to the NIT or the Crown tournament or whatever those, second-class tournaments are. I mean, he wants to be in the big dance last year. And so I think they know. Now will they execute, and will they show some consistency night in, night out to get these wins, whether they're at home or on the road?
Quite the situation, guys. Quite the situation. 10 says, come on, Mike, don't get that negative energy in here. Let's go Aztecs. Okay, JK, what's going on? He asked a good question from Ziegler's article. Actually, Mikey 90 says that. Mikey 90, what's going on? He says, what did we think about Ziegler's article talking about the 3 thoughts when he's comparing the Utah State, what are they, the Herd? Are they called the Herd, their student section, and GCU's student section, the Havocs. And basically Ziegler is calling out the show, calling them out, saying, look, you can no longer put San Diego State's student section among the top in the Mountain West, this final year. You can't do it. Challenging them and really saying, is that a quote saying that they're on life support? I don't know about that. Hey, we go to all the games. We're down here. We see it. And, I've yet to travel to Utah State or to GCU, but it's easy to see. They put them front and center. They legitimately make their students the show, right? They really cater to everything around them. And, I kind of look at it in two sides, guys. Like, yes, there's a lot of facilitation going on to prop up, especially at GCU, right? They do so much to prop up that environment and really make it a bizarre atmosphere. But then you also got to realize, like, they've never won anything, neither of these programs, right? So there is an element of hunger, I think, amongst their fan base, amongst their fans, right? Like they're I'm not going to say they're flashes in the pan, but they've never won anything. They've never even been to like a Sweet 16, let alone won many NCAA games. So when you're in that position, like everything's new to them. Like they don't have generations of winning. Whereas, hey, I look back and it's been a couple decades of victories stacking up for San Diego State. Not an excuse, but it is an element of it. I think San Diego State and the show, there needs to be more. And credit to our guys, Flavor Guy, Show Skeleton, these guys are day one supporters of what we've been trying to do here at Sons of Money, and I appreciate those guys so much, man. But it's a tough one. It is a tough one. Any thoughts on that, guys? Fiend, you've been in the show. You were down there against New Mexico.
Yeah, it definitely needs some work for sure. I mean, you can't put them in the class that Utah State and GCU is in right now. And the show used to be sort of almost one of a kind, and it was really strong and had strong leadership. And, I mean, Chino can tell you about that because he was in the show way back in the day, when it was like really, really going, and I think it's just a matter of having leadership, grooming leadership, to pass on the torch, and having a sense of camaraderie and things, that they do that attract other students to want to be a part of that, And so, it's different than saying like, oh, I'm just going to go, I want to go sit in the show tonight, but not know anything about the show, not know about the chants, not know about, you know what I mean? And so
They've met efforts in the off season, I believe, but it's a tough thing, right? It's a tough thing.
yeah, I just don't think it's on the level of what Utah State and GCU have, and I think that they also have a larger student section, right? Like there's more tickets that are available for, I want to say for those students. At least it feels like that. But those arenas too are not as deep, right? They're not so the sections are kind of spread out more, and so that kind of looks the appearance is that there's more of them, right? Whereas like ours go up, 30, 40 rows or something like that, and whatnot.
Yeah, but that's just visual stuff. That, I mean, we all
Yeah.
see it. There's a different level of creativity going on right now.
For sure.
So, yeah. Mike, anything, or can we get to our hotline caller voicemail that we received?
I mean, no. I mean, we're definitely falling behind show-wise. Now, it's interesting to see. I wonder if it seems like as the academics have increased to get into state, the show has decreased in fun. You know what I mean? But that's not to say they shouldn't be out there. But you tend to think, is there a level of complacency of like, hey, we keep winning, we're there. You know what I mean? And they haven't, like you said. So it takes some people like Flavor Guy and all those guys to get them all going. But you can't lead people who are there. Like, let's just call it what it is, man. All these young kids they just want to be on the Instagram. Hey, hey, do you want to go to the game or do you want to be seen at the game? Do you know what I mean? So the younger like we're the last real non-social media generation, So it's like sometimes I look over when I'm there and I'm like, people are taking selfies and stuff like that, and I'm just spitballing and stuff like that because you guys are there more than I am. But
it's called the show.
Yeah,
they're called the show for a reason, right? And that's the humble beginnings were when we weren't winning, right? So
are they still the show? They aren't the same show as it was before, right?
That's the question,
so it's
right?
they still have to. They need. There's some work that needs to be done on the court and off the court at VA House Arena.
Well, let me kind of end with this on this topic because this is a sore topic, right? It's a touchy one. And when you're talking about your own fans, your own students, and so for Ziegler to come out and just flat out say what he did, hey, Ziegler's a great writer. He writes really good content. There's been a lot of pushback against him over the years from the show, right, back in the days. And even to these days, sometimes it's a little biased, right? But look, when even normal fans, ticket paying fans are being told by officials to stop celebrating or to stop whistling and cheering, and we're not even talking about the show, we're talking about season ticket members, right? It's a little bit bigger than the show, I think, right? It's like we've been to New Mexico, we've been to the pit, like they're howling, they're going crazy. There's different elements going on at GCU. Like it's a bigger issue than that. Like you got to treat your students and your ticket paying ticket goers special. You got to give them that freedom.
Yeah. There's certain lines you can't cross, but like in all my years I've gone there and you guys are there, I mean, it very rarely gets to the point where it's like, dude, come on. You know what I mean? Like, so I don't know. We'll be interested because where my seats are back behind me is where all the visiting team and players and coaches and families sit.
Yeah.
Right
Yeah.
behind me. So they've
It's a different
been
pocket,
times,
different element.
yeah,
Yeah.
So I see all that stuff, and you get people talking shit to each other, right? But it's interesting. But I've only been once where somebody was giving you Stacy's wife a hard time, and I was like, dude, I was like, man, get the fuck out of here, dude. Like, stop annoying her, right?
Well,
So
let
other than
me
that,
just say something.
go ahead.
Let me say something because the last game there was a student who got escorted out, right? There were 2 students that got escorted out. The first half I was sitting down in that section.
Uh-huh.
Thank you, Mike. And a student was escorted out. Somebody tweeted about it. I think Chris Spearing from EVT, he tweeted out. And I heard a voice down there. I didn't see him get escorted, but I assumed, okay, this was the kid who got thrown out. I go over second half in a different location to take some photos, and I saw this kid getting escorted by security. He looks and bolts up the VA house stairs. It was actually really funny. It was hilarious. I had to tweet about it because he just like sprinted full bore up the stairs and escaped security. So like, yeah, there are lines that you cross and you got to handle them appropriately, but at the same point in time, it's like maybe if the environment was a little more catering towards students having fun, then you wouldn't have like these acts of disobedience and kind of like running all over the place on the court and running away from security. It's like,
more restrictive. You think it's become more restrictive as? I mean, it seems like it to me.
Possibly.
I don't know, man.
Students want to have fun. People want to have fun.
People want to have fun. They want to go to a game.
Throwing confetti and yelling and whistling. What's wrong with that? I mean, I don't get it.
Sometimes you give people authority that shouldn't have authority. Let's just put it like that.
Hey, T-Mac, thank you so much for the super, even though he says I'm in a teleconference right now, but wanted to show support. Thank you so much, man. I don't have my my sound effect going on right now, but toot your horn for you, man. He says, I'm on a teleconference. We want to show support. We had some discussions last time about potential impact players. We know what you're talking about, T-Mac. He was talking about Reese Dixon Waters, who had a monster game, 19 points. Fiend, anything we need to talk about with impact players? Because Reese had a nice game. I don't
he did have a great game, and I thought, he hit some tough shots. He really did. So hats off to him. He played really well. I think that ankle towards the end kind of bothered him, a little bit. Wish that hadn't happened, but kind of reminded me of what happened 2 years ago when he stepped on the ref's foot, and then he went down and his ankle was just messed up. I hope it's not that bad. I hope it's not as bad of a turn on his ankle. But no, he was huge. He made some big shots. I love the Spain action that we're running for him, where I think it was Newman did and maybe Heidi, the pick and roll, but then the Spain action is where Reese Waters is right behind Heidi, right, and then he pops out to the 3-point line. Heidi goes to the basket, and it's just chaos, right, and then the defense has to react, and he got some really nice looks from out, in distance from 3. Off of that, I just wish we'd run more of those sets, man. Those are great sets, and if he's getting catch and shoot opportunities, open threes, man, let it fly.
10 straight games with double-digit points for him.
10 straight games, really?
Mm-hmm. Wow, it might be 11. It's 10 or 11. But yeah, he's getting his feet. I mean, like we talked about, I really like his game. I've always liked his game. We've talked about this. I was really upset with you when you were arguing with T-Mac last time. It was like, if I was telling Harper, I'm like, she's like, Daddy, what's Uncle Fiend talking? Why is he arguing with them? What's wrong with him? I'm like, baby, he's a facts guy. And so, no, I'm just kidding. But I really like his game, and he's a difference maker. And, obviously the consistency of having him and the game and stuff, but Miles didn't have a great game, and we needed him. You know what I mean? Defensively, he's every game he's there, right?
Yeah.
But I mean, he just didn't have an offensive night that we needed, and it doesn't help us. But you're gonna have games like that, and then you're gonna have other guys pick you up. So, hey man, at the end of the day, Utah State's a very good basketball team. We're a very good basketball team. I think if we play 10 games, it's probably gonna be 6-4 or 5-5 in that range. You know what I mean? But you only play twice, so you get them at home on the 25th of February. You got to win that. You got to win all your home. And listen, at the end of the day, like you said, Fiend, there's nothing you can do about what happened in the past. You can't do anything about it. Yesterday is history. Tomorrow's a mystery, right? As one of our greatest poets, one of our greatest poets in the history of the world ever said, right? All you can do is you beat Wyoming, you beat Air Force, take a little time off, and then you got to get going. I mean, at this point, it's pretty obvious that you're going to probably have to win the Mountain West tournament to get in the tournament. Right. So, but
Not
you can't do anything. You
got to win games.
A lot of things have to go your way.
Yeah.
Right. Even if you go, unless you go and you win out and rest and you go 18-2. Yeah. But we're not going to go 18-2. There's going to be 1 or 2 time bombs in here. I think we're going to go 16-4. I think that's my
all right.
Number,
He's shooting a shot.
But the first goal you want to do is win the conference. Second goal is win the conference tournament. So let's take care of what's in front of us. You can't worry about what's going to happen in 2 months. I can't worry about what's going to happen in April with the Padres because they're not playing yet, right? So just worry about Wyoming, get that dub, and then let's go into Air Force and grudge that one out, and then take a week off, and then come home for Nevada, and let's end the season strong. Nothing else you can do. Can't worry about Troy because they're going to do what they do. Unfortunately, we're in this position. You know what I mean? We didn't have a lot of non-conference games, and when we did, we ran into 2 buzzsaws in Michigan and Arizona, right? And
Baylor and Oregon are playing really bad too. Like they're in a nose volley too. So like Baylor's actually a quad 2 loss now.
Just how the cookie crumbles.
It was a quad 1, but they're playing really bad. So the one thing I wanted to talk about again with Reese, I just thought this was funny, is I think it was Ziegler in one of the post-game press. It might have been a pre-game press conference. I'm not sure, but he asked him about taking tough shots. Like why do you take so many tough shots and whatnot? And he was like, well, I practice them. He said, I practice tough shots. But what I loved about it was like he admitted, he's like, well, some of the ones I take are questionable though. It's so he knows that like he doesn't always have the best shot selection, and that's what I was kind of harping on, was just the shot selection. Like, if he takes better shots, we're going to be a much better team. I think that's the way I put it. And but man, if he can keep knocking them down, we definitely need that.
Oh, JK, shout out to Spain for them letting us use their actions. Gotta agree with that. All right, guys, you guys know what it is. We do open up the Sons of Montezuma voicemail hotline. Mike, I know time's running down, but we want to have just a little bit of fun. We need a laugh, right? So, hey, give us a call when you guys get a chance. Leave a voicemail, your question, your take, and it might get the audio on the episode. We enjoy having you guys in the chat, but sometimes we want to hear from you. And we do got a voicemail, so might be a celebrity voicemail if you guys remember. Might date some of you guys. Might date how old you guys are.
One for more options.
Hello, this is the Bruce Dickinson, day one listener, long distance caller.
Iron Maiden.
I just got done watching the game here in my recording studio, and it really left a bad taste in my mouth. Truly disappointing. We needed some better perimeter defense late in the game. You know what I'm saying? And speaking of late in the game, we can't let Utah State find success inside, especially late in the game with the dunks and the layups. I mean, really, man. Anyways, I'm working on some stuff here in the studio, and I was going to give you a first taste of the song I've been working on for you guys, the Sons of Montezuma. Okay, go on 6. Here's a little taste of the song.
I'd actually like a recording of that. I think it's pretty cool.
Excellent lyrics. Yeah. All right, guys. I don't know about the hair bands, dude. I don't know about the hair bands. Iron Maiden. You guys, Iron Maiden fans? Is that
No.
I was more Metallica fan.
Yeah, Sphere. By the way, Sphere. So, boys,
The hotline's always open, guys. As weird as you guys want to get, it's always open. It's
we're
always
gonna pass that. Couple things before the Tasmanian Devil gets in here.
no meltdowns. What?
Hey, no, she got her sushi tonight. Listen, big game tomorrow night at home. Get that dub. The women are playing exceptionally well again. They just keep winning. I mean, when did they play? Wednesday? Tuesday?
Wednesday, I believe.
Yeah, like man, this is I think this is a historic season for them, you know. So I mean, I'm excited to see how they play. They play at Grand Canyon on the 4th, so Wednesday. That'll be a good game. But hey, women are playing well. Men are still in first place. 2 tough road losses. Come back at home, get to 6-0 at home. Get another road victory at Air Force. See what happens the rest of the year. You can't do anything about what happened before. Still like this team. Magoon and LZ probably won't play until Nevada, I'm going to assume, you know, because it looked like the Dutcher said something about LZ not playing until Nevada. Magoon won't play until Nevada. I'm interested to see how that plays out because I am a little worried about that hip. You know, we're
all worried about his hips.
We'll look into that we'll see what happens when the Nevada game comes up. Because if he doesn't play in the Nevada game, I'm a little worried he might be out a lot longer than that. So, but that's a problem for a different day, you know. So enjoy the time. Thank you for having me. Thank you for starting early for me. Because last
Mike.
episode was a dumpster fire. You know,
we let you off easy. We left you off easy. We know you're getting a hard time.
I know. Yeah, listen. I'm not always the dad of the year, but I think I'm a pretty good dad, right? You know what I mean? So, but hey, enjoyed it. Go Aztecs.
Get out of here,
guys. We'll see you guys soon. Hey, keep the faith. Let's go Aztecs. We're gonna do what we do, and we're just gonna win, cut down nets. All right.
Get out of here. I want to talk with Fiend about the women's team before we get out. So
yeah, women are awesome. Hey, keep balling out, women. Hey, peace out.
Yes.
Later.
Peace out, Mike.
Go Aztecs.
Where's my dinner?
Well, yeah. Nice roundabout way Mike has about just encircling every issue right there on his way out the door. But thank you, Mike. Thank you. Appreciate that. Okay. Yeah. Fiend, we were there at the women's game before we wrap things up, dude. Undefeated in the Mountain West. The women's team is balling. They are absolutely playing out of their minds right now. We were there to see it. Nevada, Reno. It was we got off on an early jump, leveled out just a little bit throughout the game, but second half, like you said on you guys watched the reaction video on one of our shorts. The team is balling. You know, Naomi hit that freaking almost half court 3-point shot, was just the sweetest. And shout out, got to meet some of the family there pregame. That was really, really cool. I was very excited to see her play, and this was my first game of the season. Wasn't disappointed, man. We were there in the show, making noise. You were whistling. The death whistle was activated, and the Wolfpack were missing them. A lot of different players that I wasn't familiar with stepped up, so that was really cool to see. But they're a full two games above UNLV in the standings, which is great to see. So this team's on a roll, man. Anything jump out to you from the ladies?
I just love how much they share the basketball and how much they play team basketball. I think there's a lot of tips that the men's team could take from the women's team. It was fun to watch. I mean, how they were able to get downhill, get to the basket, get fouled, hit their free throw shots. Excuse me. Yeah, Naomi didn't have a great game in the second half in the game, like as far as shooting, but you know, she got to the line. Kaylin Hamilton was great in the second half, getting downhill, getting some really good shots. Bailey Barnhart was fantastic, you know, the big in the paint. And so they just played a great game, and they blew them out really in the third quarter.
Yeah. Listening to Coach Stacy's post game, obviously they know the situation that they're in, right? You start stacking up all these wins, and it's kind of uncharted territory for them, where now they've leapfrogged UNLV as the top dog in the conference this season, right? So they know everybody's coming after them. The streak 13 in a row, they're gonna try to keep it going as long as possible, but every other team in the Mountain West is coming after them. This road game against Grand Canyon Wednesday, I want to say. And like you said, Fiend, there's a couple more opportunities that fans can go watch them where the start times are going to be, reasonable. Sometimes they're during the day and I'm at work, so I can't make it right. I'm tuning in on the Mountain West channel online. But there's some real opportunities for some of us to really get out there and support. This team is on a roll. Probably going to get that number 1 seed if everything keeps going the way it is. And so we're going to keep putting it out there, guys, because this team is special. They're actually very skilled players, man. I loved enjoying seeing, like you said, there's a sharing of the ball. I don't think that they're as inside, some of the familiar names that we've seen in the past, but something Coach Stacy says she wants to do. She wants them to start running a little bit more in transition as they did last year. I think they were really on that. So that's something to look out for them. I take her word for it. And of course, man, having her husband there, what a cool story. I think that is, Justin being there by her side and like elevating that defense, because he is just a defensive mastermind. So this is a special program, special team. It's really cool to see the Sweet 16 team come back at halftime. That was really cool. The days when the last time I think they were really making a lot of noise in this city, got to share that. So hey, I enjoyed it. I hope to be back very soon, and we'll keep putting it out there, guys, because we need to support.
For sure. I mean, the next opportunity is going to be on, I think, Wednesday the 11th, 6 p.m. against Colorado State. The men have a bye that week, so we have no excuses, no games on the men's side. So got to get there 6 p.m. on Wednesday against Colorado State, which you talked about the defense, Justin Hudson. Their defense won them that game at Colorado State. It was a very hard-fought game, and so the rematch is going to be tough as well at Viejas. We need a good crowd out there, and I definitely want to be there for that game.
And I do have to say, I believe it was CJ Lata who stopped by the morning at Broken Yoke. So that was really cool. Shout out to CJ for stopping by. And I know Superfan got a kick out of that. He got the crowd hyped up. So we'll keep reporting on it, guys. Hope you guys get out there and support. Fiend.
Yeah. They're definitely, I would think, the favorites to win the Mountain West, get back to the tournament. Who knows? Maybe they can get a little higher seed than they did last year, because they're winning more games, and maybe they'll be able to knock one off on the road like the 2010 team did, going to Texas to take down the Lady Longhorns. And then they won their next game in the round of 32 to get to, I believe it was Memphis in the Sweet 16, which is so hard to do for like a G5 program. The difference between the top teams and women, and the ones that are just getting in the tournament, it's a big difference usually. So that would be awesome if they could make just a great run this year through Mountain West and get into the tournament and do some damage. It'd be awesome to see.
Yes, sir. Oh man, well, thank you guys for joining, sticking around. We had a lot of fun tonight. I know we had a lot to talk about that game. It was a tough one for the men's side, but like we said, Wyoming tomorrow night. Hope to see you guys down there at Viejas. It's gonna be interesting to see how they improve, and maybe if they sit some guys out and let them heal up. But hopefully Wyoming, Air Force, knock these 2 games out, get better, get healthy, and then go into a little bit of a bye week, right? A little bit of a bye. So thank you guys for joining. Make sure you guys are hitting that like and subscribe button. Of course, save 15% off the online shop, sonsofmontezuma.com. All of our non-NIL items using the promo code MONTY at checkout. And we'll see you guys soon. Make sure you're checking out the articles and everything else at sonsofmontezuma.com. Everybody have a great night. We'll see you guys next time. Go Aztecs. Let's go.
Go Aztecs. Beat Wyoming. Beat those damn pokes.
We going to root toot them, and we going to shoot.